Hey Jews, I want to comment on two different small clips of videos from two different rabbis. One is Rabbi Alon Anava, and one is Rabbi Yosef Mizrahi. And at the beginning of my tshuva, I listened to both of them a lot. I learned a lot from them. Baruch Hashem. Now, they're in these two clips saying the same thing, except they're not actually saying the actual thing. They're alluding to different groups and they're not saying the thing. In my previous videos, especially also my video about Havdalah. Havdalah is a ceremony that we do every week after Shabbat, where we do a differentiation between holy and unholy, between the good and evil, between light and darkness, between the nation of Israel and all the other different nations, all the other 70 nations. So we say that we're going to do the differentiation, but do we? Do we look for the things that are different between the holy and the unholy? And can we recognize them? So again, I did a video on Havdalah called What I Know. I'm going to put it in my description here. What I know about the Sitra Achara. The other side of holiness, meaning the unholy side. What I know, what I learned, what knowledge I obtained. So here, Rabbi Anava is talking about the Erev Rav. He's talking about the Giborim. The Erev Rav, which I learned a lot from him about the Erev Rav in his series on Erev Rav. That one of the groups is the Giborim, the rabbis. So what he's talking about is what the Gaon from Vilna, the Gra, the Gaon from Vilna, and the Beit Din of Vilna, and many other B'tei Din, the other courts of the Jewish law that they had before the Holocaust in Vilna and other places in Europe, where Hassidic was starting, and they excommunicated it. They excommunicated and they banned the Tanya. So
our vocabulary and our point of view is only about Mashiach and not about Hashem. I do believe that that distorted way of thinking was planted in our societies by the same people. That we should chant Mashiach, 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 and not God, God, God. And don't think it doesn't exist. The Erev Rav is most dominating in the religious world. Not in politics, not in the parliaments. They are there. But the beat of the Erev Rav is in the religious world. Through the rabbis, Batei Dinim, Yeshivot, political parties, that's where the Erev Rav is the most strongest. And I do believe that they already engineered it into our subconscious that we're waiting for Mashiach and not to God. So we will fail with idolatry by worshiping a man and not the messenger. So that's a problem.
The second video is from Rabbi Mizrahi, talking about the clip of Manis Friedman from Chabad, which the Gaon from Vilna specifically pointed them out specifically. And the Beit Din from Vilna in their Psak Din there about excommunicating them, putting them in harem, excommunication, said, do not let them, Chabad, take root. Don't let them uproot them from your community before they take root. So when Rabbi Mizrahi talks about a very dangerous thing about Manis Friedman,
Santa Claus, when he was making fun of the girl that was molested, one of the things this fool told her, why are you making such a big deal? So you were molested. Everyone almost got molested. If you got molested, it's not worse than forgetting to say Alamichia. Guy is brainless, totally brainless. You know what it means, Alamichia? When you eat 5 kinds of grains, not bread, cookies, spaghetti, crackers. The bracha that you make is mezonot. Once you eat at least 1 ounce within 4 to 6 minutes, it makes you full a little bit. You have to make a bracha after you finish. What's the bracha? על המחיה ועל הכלכלה ועל תנועת השדה. It's like a short version of ברכת המזון. And in the end, Baruch Ata Hashem, על הארץ ועל המחיה. Takes a minute. Many times people are busy at work, they eat crackers, I don't know, they eat spaghetti, they eat things that they have to make bracha achrona, they get distracted, they have up to 72 minutes to say. And then they remember 2-3 hours later when they're already hungry again. They lost the bracha. That's it. They have to eat again now. So sometimes people forget. Even righteous people, especially if they're distracted with problems of people and these, they can forget to say bracha achrona. He's comparing a little girl that was molested by some monster. He was comparing it to someone who forgot to say bracha on a cookie. Can you believe this? What kind of people we have in our world? In my opinion, without a doubt, the biggest danger to Judaism in the world today, more than the reforms, more than the conservative, the number one danger to Jewish ideology and hashkafa and halakha, it's him.
Manis Friedman is just a quote-unquote rabbi of their ideology. Their ideology, their way, their different way of doing things was what was put in Cherem 3 times. Now, Manis Friedman was not around during the time of the Gaon from Vilna and the Beit Din of Vilna, but he was raised and fed and talks about their ideology. There are different ways that we should be able to say and understand and differentiate between our ways, the ways of the Torah, the ways of Moshe Rabbeinu, and there are different ways, which both of these rabbis are talking about. They aren't actually saying it because I don't know why. I'd really love to understand the reason why. And I'd love one of these rabbis or any rabbi to talk about who canceled the cherems, which are 3 that were done 3 times. No one canceled it. So we don't all just in later generations decide that now at the end of time, when we are legitimately less knowledgeable and understand less the wisdom of God that's written in the Torah, that's been confirmed by every generation that there's a decrease in the spiritual level and the understanding of the wisdom of God, generation after generation after generation. And here we are at the year 5785 at the end of time, not smarter than the Gaon from Vilna, not smarter than everybody there in the Beit Din of Vilna and other places that put them in cherem. So when we're talking about Manis Friedman, we're talking about a guy that comes from this ideology. So it's not that guy's not just crooked. The whole thing is crooked. The whole thing is crooked. The whole group includes more than just one group chanting for one guy, for the Mashiach. It's a whole ideology that's called Chassidut that was started out after a bunch of time. Not what we always knew, not what we always studied, not what they passed from father to son, father to son, father to son, from Har Sinai and onwards. Not the same thing. So let's get some clarity again, please. It would be great for someone to come up and say that they cancel it. Cancel the cherem then. Cancel it.